Well, today, believe it or not, marks 100 days since the October 7th massacre that saw Hamas kill, I think, about 1,700 Israelis and take 240 as hostages.
And of course, since then, we've seen 3 months of war in Gaza, with heavy losses on both sides, including more than 23,000 casualties in Gaza, and that's according to the Hamas-run Health Ministry.
But despite worldwide calls for a ceasefire, there seems, at the moment, no end in sight.
And closer to home, well, here in Parliament anyway, Lord David Cameron has warned that Britain is prepared to carry out more strikes in Yemen to protect the future of international trade.
Yeah, the Foreign Secretary warned that if the Houthi rebels continue to target ships in the Red Sea, prices will go up in Britain and across the globe.
And he said the UK will always defend the freedom of navigation.
Well, joint British and American airstrikes targeted nearly 30 Houthi positions in the early hours of Friday morning, I beg your pardon, after weeks of the rebels' attacks on trade ships in the region.
Let's talk to local government editor from Conservative Home, Harry Phibbs, for more thoughts on that. It's so interesting, isn't it, it takes a bit of getting used to talking about David Cameron as, of course, Foreign Secretary. But he is, Lord Cameron now, the Foreign Secretary, and he has said that, we'll go on striking if they won't stop their attacks. What's your thoughts on hearing him say things like that?
Oh, I think you can reckon that if David Cameron is supporting something, it's not a particularly hardline gung ho position. I think it's as he said in the Sunday Telegraph article. There's been warning after warning. There's been a great deal of hesitancy about it. But of course, we have no alternative. The idea that we can be isolationist and pretend this is nothing to do with us, when in the modern world a huge amount of our trade depends on shipping. And in any case, the idea that piracy should just be allowed to go unchallenged. Obviously, the Royal Navy have got a proud tradition of taking on piracy. So, if anything, I would say we've been too hesitant with the Houthis. And of course, we talk about the Houthis. Really, they're proxies for Iran, and the idea that we can try and appease Iran and the Ayatollahs. They call the United States the Great Satan and Israel the Little Satan, but they also call us the Middle Satan. So of course we need to stand up to them. The analogy about standing up to bullies, I know, is used a lot, but I think that is the only valid one. The idea that we don't want it to escalate. Let's not provoke them, I think is desperately naive. We absolutely need to take a strong line.
Yeah, well, a strong line with the Houthis then, which is what we're doing militarily. But I mean, there's no prospect of military action against Iran, is there? So that has to fall down to diplomacy.
Oh, I think what we can do is avoid strengthening Iran. So and certainly when they've got their surrogates they're involved with, such as Hamas and the Houthis, then we need to be robust about that. Robust about any expansionism. We need to be very strong in terms of our own security, because they've been trying to sponsor terrorist attacks around the world, and there's considerable evidence in Germany and elsewhere. We certainly shouldn't be giving them any financial assistance, and also I think that we should be encouraging this considerable resistance within Iran, understandably so, because it's the most vile, tyrannical regime, and a lot of women, for example, absolutely detest the oppression, and so I think we should do what we can to try and encourage resistance to the regime. I agree. We probably don't want to declare war on Iran, but in a way, that's the reality is that they are absolutely out to destroy us, and starting by recognizing that is probably a good realistic basis.
And briefly, your thoughts, because we'll be talking more about it in a moment, your thoughts on the fact that it is 100 days today since the October the 7th appalling atrocity that happened with the not Houthi.
Gaza.
With the
Hamas.
Hamas, that's it. With the Hamas suddenly attacking Israel. It's 100 days. You can barely believe it, can you?
It has gone, but it has gone past very fast. I mean, I do think that the Israelis have made astonishing progress, actually, in countering Hamas. Bear in mind, very difficult for them, given the tactics Hamas use of having civilian shields, forcing the civilians to stay with them rather than evacuating, using, of course, that network of tunnels. They're not a straightforward. They don't wear uniform, so I think that the idea of trying to eliminate Hamas while trying to minimize civilian casualties is an incredible challenge for Israel, which sometimes people use double standards. I mean, whenever you have a war, there will be civilian casualties. War is a horrible, messy thing, and I think in many ways the efforts that Israel has used, helped, I suppose, by the highly precise modern weaponry that's available, where they can take in a block of flats, they can take out one individual flat, sort of on the fourth floor. I mean, there's that level of targeting. They've actually achieved quite a lot. But of course, the real challenge will be once they've completed the military operation and eliminated Hamas as a terrorist organization, then what happens next? And that obviously is going to be a very difficult challenge, not just for Israel, but for the rest of the Middle East and indeed the rest of the world.
OK, Harry, for now, thanks very much indeed.